In this video of World of Tanks console, I will be driving the Falcon T92, which is a Tier 8 American Premium light tank that you get from the Season Pass, if you own the Season Pass, at level 75. So I'm going to be spawning on Ghost Town, which is a pretty difficult map to play as a light tank, especially one like a Falcon T92. That's supposed to play more of a passive spot, but can play a little bit with its gun because it has a pretty good DPM but terrible penetration. So let's talk about the equipment and crew skills that I actually have set up on my Falcon T92 if I grab the right controller instead of my Switch controller, because they look very similar. Okay, so my equipment is the Advanced Optics, Advanced Concealment, Gun Stabilizer, and the Enhanced Target Info. My commander skills is Born Leader, Situational Awareness, Sixth Sense, Camouflage Expertise, Muffled Shot, Green Thumb. I just flipped myself, so rollover recovery would be really nice about now. But luckily, the T-3485 is just like, wow, that Falcon T92 just flipped itself. Okay, back to telling you the scales. Green Thumb, Steady Aim, Rapid Loading, and Mark Target. So, also, if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing because it helps out the channel a ton, and it's always free. So, let's talk about the Falcon T92. 400 meters of view range, 175 millimeters of standard penetration, and 210 millimeters of penetration on its premium round. It has a very good DPM of 2,194, but 150 damage, which is able to take down champions like this, especially if you have your tank loaded down with the Advanced Loader and Rapid Loading, Born Leader, and Rations. You can get your reload down pretty dang quickly without taking any damage from a champion. So the mobility of the Falcon T92 is on the slow side, on the top speed. It goes 68 forward, 25 reverse, and a power to weight ratio of 35.32, which is actually really good. Aim time is 1.8 seconds, and accuracy is a 0.38. Gun depression is actually 10 degrees on this tank, so that's really nice. Detectable, the camo is 318.6 meters, and you have 400 meters of view range. So if you camo out, view range out, you can get your tank down to 252 meters of camo, so that's pretty nice, and 512 meters of view range. And if you use the bush mechanics in the game, you can actually just spot and kind of shoot behind bushes if you know what you're doing, which is basically what I'm doing. Sitting in this bush, waiting for somebody to make a mistake, for somebody to drive out in the open. And what I was doing earlier by shooting a brass, I was letting the brass be behind the tree while I was also in the bush, so I can get as much camo as I possibly could so I wouldn't get spotted. Also, one of the great things about the Falcon T92 is its shell velocity, which I use the APCR rounds, the APDS rounds very nicely. And I love this about this tank. It has 1,219 meters per second on its normal rounds, standard rounds. And the rounds are so good at snapshotting and driving on the move and circling tanks, and also kind of sniping at a distance. Now the penetration is kind of lackluster. Like I said earlier, 175 on standard, 210 on its premium. So that's not really going to be going through any heavily armored tanks at the front, especially heavy tanks. And glad I didn't flip over, but I did flip over what was that dead tank. Now you're actually going to see the shell velocity come very handy right here, and also the DPM of this tank. Also, you're going to see how bad I am at driving this tank over hills and humps. And that's when Alpha got the better of me. Even though I had the better DPM, the Aguila did manage to put 2 shots into me to put me down to half health. Now, we have 3 tanks. They have 2 tanks. Our M48 Rampanzer, the one that saved us from the Aguila, is now currently fighting a G-Sword. And there's an Oni that is actually kind of trapping me here. Now, right now, I have no idea what gun the Oni is using. If it's using the 10.5 centimeter, I believe it is, I could take a hit because it does about 320 damage. But if it's using the Nerf gun, I can get one-shotted. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty trapped over here. Maybe I can help my Rampanzer by putting a shot in the G-Sword and giving artillery some time to hit the Oni. Now, I'm actually going to show you how bad the penetration is by just bouncing off the back of the Oni. And the G-Sword actually killed the Rampanzer. So I'm going to kill this Oni very quickly. And before the G-Sword gets over here, because I just took a hit for the Oni. So I'm like, okay, I cannot take another hit. And so I'm like, okay, I have to run. Because I don't want the G-Sword and the Oni teaming against me. I'm down to a one-shot. I cannot let that happen. Use my amazing shell velocity while auto-aiming on the Oni to put an extra shot in. So the artillery can finish the Oni off. And there goes the shot. And there goes the Oni. Now, luckily, I put a shot into the G-Sword earlier trying to help the M48 Rampanzer. And now the G-Sword is down to a one-shot. And all I'm doing is going back to where my artillery is. Going to sit over here, spot, and shoot the G-Sword when it pops up. I'm supposed to be using my superior camo and vision range on this tank to outspot the G-Sword, which I did it. Cool. That's it for this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Also, remember to stop fish because why would you not? And peace out. See ya.